Hello and welcome to another Ultra Confusion Hangout. I am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by our prolific commenter himself, Zealeus.
Good morning. How goes it, Mr. Charlie?
Good morning. I hope my words make sense.
So far, that makes sense, as you've been recording at least.
Yes. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so here's the name of the game. We are going to do a twofer for today. This morning we have our wonderful Zealeus helping us out. And then our regularly scheduled broadcast time of 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is going to have one of two guests. I'm not going to reveal who the guest might be, but we are definitely going to have a guest. Uh,
Excellent.
I, uh, Most definitely in studio. So
Will it be like a human guest, or could it be like a dog or cat guest? Or
human,
like a giraffe?
human.
Human? Okay.
Yes, it's going to be human.
Older than like 6 months old?
Yes,
Okay. Just checking.
one that can hold a conversation that everyone will understand.
Excellent.
Indeed,
I like it.
indeed. All right, Zelia. So since we're doing a morning broadcast, one has to ask, what was the last game that you played before going to bed last night?
For me, I've been playing after actually Charlie's recommendation was Little Red Running Hood. Charlie described it pretty well last week. It's the running side scroller game. The one thing I'd add to it, that we talked a little bit beforehand, it is one of the most unforgiving games I've ever played. Even level one is like, because basically, like you said, you have little dark guys that you don't touch or it gets dark, or you have the light guys to kind of give you a little more sunshine. It's like if you touch one little dark guy in stage one, you won't even finish stage one. And it's like, holy jeez, is this really like level one of a game? So, most games they very much hold your hand at least for a couple stages. Where you can make total lot of screw ups you're just fine. But this game, nope, no forgiveness. Um, the only good thing about that, at least to start off with, is the stage isn't that long. It's not like this like 7 minute crazy stage that you get to miss by 2 seconds. It's like a minute and a half, so it's not too bad at least.
Right. The majority of the stages range from about like a minute and a half out to I think 3 minutes.
Okay.
It really depends because there's certain stages where there's a lot of back and forth, and then there's stages that are literally here's the starting point, here's the end point, boom, done.
Gotcha. Yep.
So
And I kind of mentioned this on the website, but when I first looked at it, it was $1.99. Really? I can pay $1.99 for a game? And then the more I thought about it, it's like, all these games with their stupid little microtransactions, which if you don't buy anything, just basically gimp the game and make it more obnoxious to play in the first place. If you're going to properly play a free-to-play game, it's going to cost you well over $1.99. So it's kind of, in retrospect, I'm glad the game just cost me $2, and now I just have it to play. I don't have to deal with other, buy a special star or, enhance your light balls so they give you 1.2 nuggets of light instead of their normal one, and the darkness only contributes 0.8 instead of the full one. Like, I'm glad I don't have to deal with that type of BS. The game, it is what it is. So, in a way, I'm like, okay, I actually kind of prefer it this way, I think.
sweet. So a little housekeeping real quick with Ultra Confusion. We are happy to announce that we have
A blue screen!
a blue screen or a bed sheet that's hanging from the ceiling because there's so much crap behind here that I'm getting sick and tired of it showing up in videos.
Nice.
Okay, housekeeping with Ultra Confusion. First off, we had an awesome interview with Alex Byram this past Tuesday. He, of course, is the creative director for Go to Hell Dave. He's making a point-and-click adventure game where you're going to go through 9 levels of hell. He's drawing inspiration from the good old point-and-click adventure games. He mentioned Broken Sword and Grim Fandango. The game is on Steam Greenlight, so if you, the listener, watcher, whatever, of Ultra Confusion, think this is a cool idea, go over to Greenlight and click the thumbs up button to help them, greenlight the game. So they've been working on this for 12 months. Oh, and by the way, the name of the company is Falchion Games, just in case you were wondering. Um,
Because we
I,
had 8 different announcements last week.
yeah. So it's a very interesting game. My only concern is that this game is going to be way too humongous. Um, this is the first level of hell, and I don't know if this is completely the first level of hell, but this is what he told me. Okay, so the gates of hell. He's decided to take a little comedic twist to it. It's going to be a nightclub.
Mm-hmm.
So you go into the nightclub, and once you're in the nightclub, you get an introduction to a lot of the characters. From there, you're going to go to a town square, and then there's going to be some action there. From there, you go into a nerd basement, which is going to be kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons type feel, where there's going to be dice rolling for actions. Once you've gotten through that, then you're going to go to an English pub. Once you've gotten through that, you're going to go to a desert wasteland where you're going to find the Grim Reaper sunbathing, and then of course some action happening there. And then you're going to go to an upside down Titanic, which has been turned into an art gallery, and you're going to have several levels in there. That's the first level of hell.
Hmm.
I'm going to be honest. That to me seems like way too many places for just one of the 9 levels. If you're thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 areas per level, that's 54 places, unique places. That is a shit ton of art. And then if
It's a
you've
rather
gotten,
ambitious project.
and then if you've got different mechanics in different areas, there's a shit ton of programming too. I mean, I would love to see what this game ends up being. We are a huge. I'm sorry. The other thing is every single character in the game is going to be voiced.
Wow.
I mean, I'm just
Which
going to say this. I'm going to say this now. This is a very, very, very ambitious project, and I wish them the best. But I think they're going to have to simplify some stuff. Otherwise, this is not going to see the light of day because there's too much. There's
now, do
too
you think
much.
this is one of those games that could work? Like, maybe you purchase level 1 for $10,
Uh-huh.
and then each level as it comes out. 'Cause it sounds like each level could be quite a lengthy ordeal in itself. So maybe you just purchase each level almost with its own DLC as it comes out.
Right. Well, I mean, it'd be. I think it'd be perfect for like if they want to keep this format, then an episodic type of format would serve this game perfectly if this is the path they want to take. But if they're trying to release, I mean, if they're trying to create this entire game, from start to finish, without ever having something out there, that's be tough.
But at the same time, though, it used to be the norm that you release, ginormous games on launch date without anybody batting an eye. That's just kind of the way it was.
Those were the good old days where companies were okay with releasing a game when it was actually done and not
Mm-hmm.
saying, "Oh, there's my release date. Yeah, this game has got a shit ton of problems, but we'll just patch it along the way."
It's true. Like, games have always required patches along the way. Very rare did you ever have a game that actually came out and, woo, it's wonderful, great out of the box, no problems.
True, but then at the same time, I mean, that was like a different world. I mean, I remember getting patches off of CDs that came with gaming magazines.
Oh, yeah, those were the good old days. Yeah. Or you have to go online on BBSs and download them, and over like a 28 8K modem, it took you like 8 hours to download the stupid patch.
Yep.
If somebody had to pick up the phone in the meantime, and trying to explain to your parents what you were doing and why you needed the phone line, yeah, that never worked.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I don't understand or care, kid.
Yep.
That's okay.
Speaking of interviews, we have an interview this Sunday at 8 p.m. With Josh Clark, founder of CrossPad Games. He's based out of Gainesville, Georgia. He just recently, this past month, or past Monday, he presented um, a wow, that sounds redundant, but he presented a presentation um, for the Athens chapter of the Georgia Game Developers Association. Um, he's got a couple games underneath his belt. He's made a board game, and he's looking to make an iOS game, I think with Unity, or maybe there's two separate projects. But we'll get a chance to talk to him for about, I think, 30, 40 minutes, just like we did with Alex on Tuesday.
So you're actually going out to Athens for this?
No, we're going to do a Google Hangout. I would love to go out to Athens, but
I think you should go to Athens. I'm just saying.
It's a little far.
It's only like an hour and a half drive.
Yeah, I got a kid.
You have a wife to watch the kid.
Yeah.
Bring the kid with you. You can go bar hopping.
No.
I saw it when I was there.
Yeah. Okay, and finally, a bit of exciting news, or more exciting news for Alter Confusion. We have a fan that has decided that they would like an opportunity to step up to the plate and help Alter Confusion by becoming a contributor. So, starting at any moment, you are going to see stories, reviews from an individual that goes by the name of Alt Demon. Alt Demon, of course, is the wonderful individual who was brave enough to chit chat with us last week during our broadcast.
No, is she up with this so early in the morning today?
No, I don't think so.
On this beautiful morning?
I don't think so. You'll probably see her in the future for some of these broadcasts going forward, but we're going to take it a little bit slow. We're going to let her, kind of acclimate to giving us stories and reviews, and then we'll introduce her to the other stuff.
Very nice.
Indeed.
That would be good news. Good news.
Indeed. Okay, so let's get to the heart of the problem here. I came to the realization that these games that are now being released, like pre-alpha, throw money at us and we'll give you the alpha build. It's Kickstarter, but it's not. But it is. And in my opinion, it's a very dangerous thing to rely on.
Well, it's kind of funny you say that, just real quick, because yesterday you posted the thing where, I forget what company it is, where they're going away from Kickstarter, they're now crowd surfing their game.
Right. It's Precinct. It's some of the guys from the old Sierra company.
And that was like my first thought. I'm like, isn't this just Kickstarter, just under a different name, basically? That's what it felt like to me.
Right,
I'm like,
right.
Like, okay. So I just kind of think it's funny that I read that article there. I was like, this sounds like Kickstarter. They're just calling it something different.
Right, and absolutely, it is Kickstarter. The only difference is Kickstarter, you have to put in a deadline. It's either got to be 30, 60, or 90 days out.
Okay.
The crowd sourcing, the multi-level sourcing can go on infinitely. That's the difference.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but with Kickstarter, isn't it also the deal, like, basically if the game's not released, don't people get their money back?
If a product is not delivered, there is room for legal action.
I mean, there's I guess with Kickstarter, there's at least some form of accountability.
Yeah.
I mean, you might not see anything, but at least there's some level of, there's some accountability there for the developer, publisher, whatever it is, to get that game out. Where if I'm just throwing, the $99.99 package at the company to, play the game, well, who knows if we'll ever get out of open beta.
Mm-hmm.
There's no guarantee or anybody pushing them to do this.
Mm-hmm. True. That is one of the dangerous side effects of not having a publisher. There's no one really, strangling you to get the project done. I mean, you can go at your own pace, which is fantastic. But at the same time, going your own pace means you can go on infinitely. You could fall into the Duke Nukem syndrome, where every single time you get close to the end of completion, you're like, oh my gosh, there's a new graphics engine. We can make this
But
game
it can
so much
work.
better.
Look at a publisher like Blizzard. Before, when they were coming out with the not Star Wars, the
StarCraft.
thank you, StarCrafts, and their World of Warcraft games. Those took years to bring out, but it was for a good reason. So I think in a way, taking your dear sweet time to publish a game can be a good thing if done well. Not every company can do it. Blizzard's the rare exception, probably to the drawing out the cycle forever. But I think it's not necessarily a bad thing because maybe it gets them a chance to maybe put in that extra little awesome thing in the game that you wouldn't get to if you didn't have a publisher. Or
Right.
you could also then put in 80 supposedly awesome things, but 70 of them suck.
Right, but on the flip side, Blizzard kind of showed that they can make an amazing quality product.
Mm-hmm.
So they had the reputation of they make awesome shit, and then they were like, we're going to take our time, and everyone's like, well, okay, that kind of sucks, but we know you're going to make awesome shit, so go for it. When you have Kickstarter projects from little known companies and they take forever, they in my opinion, they don't get that luxury that Blizzard gets for taking forever to release a game. If you're a small company, you better get some shit out quick, you know?
Now, do you think it makes a difference? Because a lot of these games I've noticed, like if you're like a, subscriber or whatever terminology they're using, it seems like a lot of time you get access then to the closed beta.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that makes a difference in terms of that of getting that content out to the people who give money? They now get access to the closed beta. Do you think that makes a difference?
Absolutely. I think when you give well, I mean, if you're going to put money down, you want to see results. And, some people will fall for, oh, I got all the T-shirts and the posters and stuff. I got all of those goodies, so I'm okay for now. But for me and a lot of other individuals out there, we want to see the actual something of the actual product that we kickstarted or that we threw $100 to be a founder in.
But do you look at a game like Infinite Crisis, though, where you're paying at least $20 to even see what the game's about. It's like their minimum tier. So, like, do I really want to pay $20 to see what their closed beta is about?
Right. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's like it's their dangling carrot. I mean, that's what they're trying to do. They know that there's when you've got the license for DC, you know that dangling a $20 deal in front of people is going to get a shit ton of response because there are just like any franchise or fan base, there are those psychotic fans that have to devour anything that's within that universe, and so that $20 is a drop in the pot to them.
True, I could see that. That's why I like the model that, for instance, like a Path of Exile used, where their beta, it was open to everybody, and then they had like the Founders Pack. So if you played the game, you're like, okay, this is actually a pretty cool game. Now I'm actually willing to give that, I think they had like a $5,000 pack or something absurd. There's probably a few people who gave that. I mean, if you really like the game, more power to you. But at least that way, at least you got to try the game to see, like, okay, is this something that I actually want to invest time and money into?
Right. Well, I mean, one of the interesting things is, and I'm curious to see how other companies deal with the founder packs. Red 5 Studios, the masterminds behind the game Firefall, had founders packs that they displayed and advertised forever, and they decided that as soon as the game goes in open beta, founder packs will no longer be available. So for me personally, I want to see what I'm going to be investing my money in. I've learned that after, I don't want to say blindly throwing my money, but it feels like blindly throwing my money at these Kickstarter projects and then not really seeing anything from it for, I think we're over a year for for these projects. I haven't seen jack. They've updated going, oh yeah, here's a concept of a character we want to put in the game. Well, that's fantastic. Where the fuck is the game?
Well, let me ask you a question though. Is it
Yep.
any different than pre-ordering a AAA title? I mean, look at like myself who pre-ordered Diablo 3. You
Yep.
know, it's kind of like, wow. Now looking back, would I have really pre-ordered the game for $60? You know, I enjoy playing the game, but now it's like, maybe it was or wasn't worth it. I don't know. So is this really any different than pre-ordering the old traditional style of pre-ordering a game for $60 where you don't really know what you're getting? Is it really any different? When you can still get a shit game?
Ooh, okay, so
Okay, maybe that's a little exaggeration, but maybe
okay,
not
so no, no,
as
no.
good a game as you thought.
Well, okay. So let's say that you pre-order the game for the $60, and then when you finally get it, it is shit-tastic. It's just piece of crap. Right, right, right. You blindly threw $60 at it, thinking, hoping that it was going to be good, and it turns out disgusting. But um, the one difference I would say is once a Kickstarter project is successfully funded, your
Mhm.
funds are at that company. It's not like at any time you could just go, oh fuck it, forget it, never mind. With pre-orders, you could do that. Now, of course, GameStop tries to go, well, sir, since you don't want to pre-order that game, why don't you pre-order this entire list of games, and we'll just divide the 60 into 5 for every single one of these games, because that sounds like a great idea.
Wow. That's kind of a disturbing, either pimply, like teenager voice, or like old crotchety man voice. I can't decide.
It's a teenager voice.
Okay. I don't see too many crotchety old men working at GameStop.
Well, due to the economy, I would not be surprised.
I see that as your retirement job.
These fangled things behind me, I don't know what they are, but I'm getting paid.
And then you're going to start rambling about the good old days of gaming.
I remember when you had to walk to a friend's house to play a multiplayer game. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Charlie's craziness because he's not completely awake. So you're going to hear a lot of voices and a lot of shit.
It's okay. It's like you're talking to your baby, trying to amuse her. Or him. Him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Speaking of babies.
I'm not having a baby.
Oh.
Sorry.
My sister had a baby. I am now a proud uncle. My nephew's name is Trip. That's Tripp.
Okay. It'd be really weird if they named him like Tripped, like Tript. That'd just be odd.
He looks like the baby version of his dad. Holy crap!
Well, at least we know he's the father.
Yeah, you put some stubble on his face, and it is his dad.
You should get that for Christmas. Get some like fake stubble to put on him. That'd be kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, I need to get one of those knitted like beanie hats that have the knitted beard built into it.
I love it. I think that'd be good, actually. You should take up knitting. You can learn how to make it.
I'm not relearning knitting.
I'm just trying to give you good, healthy suggestions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you can knit things for your kid, too. Think of all the money you'd save. No?
Julie's the knitter in the family.
Oh, it could be a family thing. You can do it together. My parents watch like Wheel of Fortune and something else, Jeopardy. You two can knit. You know, a family that knits together stays together.
Oh, dear God.
Okay, anyways. It's early for me, too, okay?
Yeah. Okay, so I totally forgot about the fact that I haven't said what game I've been playing before I went to bed. I actually picked up, this is ironic, okay, now we're going to go completely full circle here, a game that was kickstarted. Not by me, though, but it was a game that first appeared...
You didn't kickstart?
No, I didn't kickstart this one. It's called Shadowrun Returns.
Okay.
Holy ballsack. This is a good game.
Oh.
You can get through Steam.
Thank you.
Whenever
you start with like a holy ball sack, that could totally go either way. So like, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
Right, right, right. I use that phrase a little bit too much, I think. Anyways, so um, so it's a cyberpunk universe. You could be a shaman, you could be a street samurai, you could be a decker, which is basically a hacker. You can be a mage and a rigger. A rigger can like create little sentry bots and stuff. It's turn-based RPG. Um, you take on quests. It's very. I mean, you've got a couple of optional quests, and I've completed them all. And I feel like the game's running really quick, so I'm kind of sad that it's almost over. At least I think it's over. I mean, close to over. I don't know, but it's a solid game. I mean, it's polished and
Based off the classes you gave, have you ever read Neil Stephenson's Snow Crash?
uh-uh.
The classes sound like that's where they got their inspiration from.
Well, Shadowrun is actually a game that's been around forever. The franchise has, at least.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's been around for quite a while, and it's by Harebrained Games this time. I feel like Harebrained Games has got some other game under on their list as well. But anyways, phenomenal game. I'm loving it so far. I really haven't found anything that really thoroughly pisses me off about the game, which is unusual.
Rare.
Yeah, rare. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm really enjoying it. Now, of course, because I'm playing this game like a shit ton, you will notice that I didn't mention Firefall, which I've been playing almost exclusively on the PC for quite a while. I think I've hit that wall.
Oh,
I think I've seriously hit. I am done with doing random Ares missions and not having anybody come by to help me out, and then taking forever to try to solo what's supposed to be a solo mission, but it's not possible. It's not possible to solo any of these freaking solo missions,
I
and
know.
and then the thumper challenges. I mean,
You
yeah,
have to have you have to have a party show up to do the thumper challenges.
well, I mean, if you use your standard thumper, you don't. But
But
if you do just your thumper one, it's not a squad thumper. It's just a thumper one. You have to have a squad. You have to have a squad. You cannot do this by yourself. There's no possible way because you're gonna get owned.
yeah,
So to be honest with you, I think Firefall has some interesting things, and I mean, it kept me hooked for 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks. But I think they need to go back and reevaluate the ability to solo. I mean, yes, I explored every single inch of that place, and yes, I helped take back a bunch of places, but I had the help of others. I did not
mhm.
take back a place. Well, I did take back one watchtower by myself, and that was just by pure freaking luck and the fact that apparently the Chosen decided to be blind that day and no bullets were hitting me.
Oh, nice. So it's like an action movie
Yeah.
with like with like somebody in it, like Bruce Willis in it, and they can't hit him.
Yep. Yep. So I'm going to write up a review, a beta review of it. So don't expect a score, but I'm going to write something up about it. I did beat a game called Deadlight. That one is on Steam and on the Xbox Live Arcade. Do not play the Steam version.
Oh,
Do not do it unless you have an Xbox 360 controller.
huh, interesting.
If you have a controller, go ahead and play it. If you are utilizing the keyboard to play this game, do not touch it. I am being dead serious. Do not touch this game if you have to use the keyboard. The the lack of sensitivity given by the keyboard will decimate you constantly. I used the keyboard exclusively and I beat the game, but I died so many times because of the fact that there's some very precise moments that you've got to do, and I had to contort the shit out of my hand to get it to work. And I've got humongous fingers,
Yeah, you do.
so it's probably easier for me than most people. But so let me give you an example real quick. So you're gonna use WASD, okay? WASD,
Hmm.
to move, all those different directions. You're gonna hold down the only way to sprint is to hold down the left shift key. To jump is the space bar. Now, to crouch is the left control, only the left control.
Mm.
But here's the deal: there are certain times where you have to sprint, jump, and then while in the air, crouch so that you land in a rolling motion. If you are running to the right, so you're holding D, spacebar, and then you gotta do shift and control, it's not comfortable. Because as soon as you release, then you've got to get your fingers back on WASDA because you're probably about to get shot.
Hmm.
And oh, by the way, you can't use your right hand because the right hand's got to be on the mouse because that's going to be your action. Um,
Can you not change the key mappings in the game?
I'm sure you can, but when a game comes to me, I'm going to play it with the default sets because I
Gotcha.
want to see what they think is the best layout. And I have
Hmm.
to say, that's not the best layout. There's got to be. I don't know how you make it better, but
Now, is that just a default? Because that's what pretty much every game ever uses, are kind of those defaults, it seems like.
right.
And it seems like a pretty standard, computer layout for controls.
Well, right. I mean, like what? I mean, WASD space for jump. I understand that the shift control. I mean, that kind of changes depending on the game. Sometimes you got um, some individuals will use Q or E for actions, um, or Z, X, or C, or maybe F. I use F a lot in Firefall.
Mm.
That's to mark your enemies so that everybody else can see them.
How nice of you.
Um, okay, Zealeus, do you have any news, any topics that you would like to discuss?
Sadly, my brain is not turned on yet for further development of topics. I know that is unfortunate.
Um,
I haven't been playing a whole lot of games. I've been spending my last week building servers at school, so that's been my excitement. It's only 2.5 weeks. Damn it! It's only 2.5 weeks away.
yep,
Ah, where does time go?
yep, yep. So, excuse me.
That's why we're actually doing the podcast this morning, because that's what I'll be doing tonight
Mhm.
after hours.
Nice. Yes.
Good times.
So, unfortunately, with the lack of Zealeus, we have to find a replacement for him for the 8 o'clock slot. There was a thought of just, changing the time to this slot for today, but we made the executive decision that we want to make sure that everybody knows that every single Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, they could tune in and they could get a live broadcast. So we're doing twofers.
Right
Uh,
on.
it's going to be awesome.
I have no doubt. I'll be very jealous.
Yeah. And depending on my host, the topics will change.
I can imagine so. Different people talk about different things.
Yes, 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 yes.
Makes sense.
What the hell was I about to say? I'm sorry. My brain,
Question: with Shadowrun, did you buy the normal version or the deluxe version?
the normal version, I have no interest in the soundtrack. Because I had never played the game. I never really heard of it. I just on a whim decided to buy the game. So they're like, "Oh, you can get the soundtrack." I'm like, I just
Maybe
want
not.
to. This game sounds cool, so I want to play it. I'm not really, you know. I mean, soundtrack is good. I mean, I don't think that I would want to, Sorry, mosquito. I don't think that I want to buy it, but it's good, but
I hear you.
it's fun though. Yeah,
Right on.
indeed, indeed. What the hell? Did you just send me a
So,
message?
me?
Yeah, you.
No,
Oh.
I did not. So, are there any like actual? I haven't heard like any big releases for the PS3 or Xbox 360 for like seems like quite a while. Are you just kind of like in a holding pattern right now to like the Xbox One and the PS4?
Um.
It almost seems like.
Yes. The
But normally we
majority.
also talk about new games that are coming out, and it just doesn't seem to be like. When we're talking about PC games, PC games. That doesn't happen because Charlie's always like console. He's actually talking about computer games. This is weird.
So a lot of the energy of the publishers and developers right now, if you're not an independent, uh, you're basically packing it in to make sure that you have your game ready for as close to launch as possible for those consoles because um, people need games to play and they're willing to basically buy anything that's available so that they've got games to show off for their buddies or girlfriends or family members, whatever,
Or themselves.
or themselves. Um, I would not be surprised if you see. I would not be surprised if you're going to see a couple of releases closer to the release of the consoles for games that are gonna that have two versions. An Xbox 360 version and an Xbox One version. Um, but I would think that that's probably going to be October when that happens.
Getting close.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. I think someone's trying to chat with me on Google Plus because I keep hearing a noise.
It's not me, yo.
I don't think I have it open on my other computer. Oh well. Anyways, I've been playing the Ouya. I'm getting
Of
really
course.
pissed off with um, the lack. Look, the Ouya is a very interesting machine, but I feel like the people behind the Ouya
Mhm.
think that because they've released it, that people are just going to go to their website and find out information about new exciting games. That's not how it works. It'd be like um, Nintendo, like back in the day, only talking about their games through like newsletters. If there's no advertisement, there's
So
no
Ouya is sending you a newsletter in the mail?
no no.
That's kind of
But
awesome.
like back when the NES was out, I mean, there was no such thing. I mean, there really wasn't an internet. There's no websites to go to. So I'm basically equating what Ouya is doing, which is basically a blog on
Hmm.
their website that goes, "Oh, we got an exciting new game that just came out," and they really don't. They don't even really go into much details about future releases. It's just kind of like, "Oh, this game was released," and it's on their yes, it's on their Facebook page, it's on their Google Plus page, it's on their web page, but it's theirs, and theirs.
So they're not doing a whole lot of actual advertising, it seems like
Well,
outside of their own
I
realm.
think to be honest with you, a lot of the developers are getting pissed because they're not seeing that big of a return on their investment. The reason why they're not seeing that big of a return is that the Ouya, the company the Ouya company, is basically just like, well, if you want information, you can come to our website, but we're not going to help market your game. You've got to do that on your own. I'm going to be totally honest with you. The majority of independent developers out there, they have no idea what the hell marketing is.
Yep.
They think that yes, a word of mouth network is phenomenal, but it can only take you so far. You need individuals. um, or organizations to speak up about your games. That's why it's it's essential to get involved with your local like IGDA chapter. If you've got a state developer development chapter, getting involved there, and then they can also promote your game. Um, you know, going to like-minded individuals and basically piggybacking off of one another. We'll advertise your game if you advertise our game on your website, that type of thing. I mean, there's a lot of shit that you got to do instead of, boom, there's the game. Everybody's going to love it.
I hear you. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, there are some solid games on the Ouya, but if MonsterCon was any indication, no one knows what the fuck an Ouya is. A lot of people are like, oh
Oh,
yeah,
there's I know it's because of you.
that was the Android console. Oh, I heard about that. Is that thing out?
Well, it's competing with the Nintendo and the Xbox and the PlayStation. It's easy to get lost in the waters. And the iOS
Yeah,
and Android tablet and phones. I mean, there's a lot of competition out there.
absolutely. But I mean, like when an Android device comes out, that's like Google backed, like the new Nexus or whatever. Holy crap! You hear about it everywhere.
You do.
A new iPhone comes out. There's no way in hell that you don't know that a new iPhone comes out when it comes out. Because, dear God, there's enough commercials, advertisement,
Fanboys.
fanboys. I mean, it's just everywhere. And I understand, yes, the Ouya, it's a first generation. It's brand new to the game. But at the same time, in order to swim in this kind of environment, you've got to when you hit the ground, you got to be running, like sprinting. You can't just be like, "Oh, we're here, and yeah, we're here. We're
Come play
cool.
it.
Come play our games. Yay!"
Well, especially with the iOS, whenever they actually release that SDK to actually have the universal controller across all iOS devices.
Right.
To really enhance that gaming on the iOS, will even be more competition.
Right. Absolutely.
As far as because I think that could, iOS obviously a lot of people are using basically as a dedicated gaming device.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you get a good controller for it, it's almost like, okay, what's the point of the Ouya now?
Mm-hmm.
Because let's be honest, people, the majority, 99.9% of people, they don't care if it's an Android versus iOS in terms of like, oh, yay, it's Android. They just want what works and what's easy for them. For most people, guess what? That's the iOS.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're not going to care about the Ouya when they already have the iOS. You're going to be like, why would I need this? I don't understand. I'm just going to stick with what I already have.
Right. To be honest with you, I think the answer is twofold. One, the Ouya needs to do some serious branding. Yes, they showed up to E3.
They do need to advertise, yes. Because I don't know if I've ever actually seen Ouya advertising.
They do in-person advertising. And yes, that works in an area, but you need
and that might work for like the more hardcore gamers. Like,
right, absolutely.
They would know about the Ouya anyways. It's that other 99.9% of the public that you got to reach.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And the other thing is, they had quite a few games, which is phenomenal when you start, but no one really knew what games were there. I mean, even me who got an Ouya, there's a couple of games that they were showcasing, and then when they were doing their tour, and then when I went to the marketplace, they weren't even there.
Where'd the games go?
That they weren't ready for public consumption.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
So, I mean, I would love to see the Ouya succeed simply because this gives an amazing platform for independent developers. But if the Ouya does continue on the path that it's going on,
Well, and
then
I always like and I think competition is always a good thing. You know, it's
right,
another
absolutely,
console. It can't be a bad thing. It's just hopefully gives a reason for other devices to raise their bar even more.
yep,
There's another option out there.
right, and I think at the very least, there's going to be if the Ouya falls, there's going to be some companies or some games that are going to come out of that wreckage, and they're going to have the support of a company to help port it to a different device. And then that could be the start of something awesome. But yeah, I mean, there's some good games on the Ouya. There's some really nice looking games that just have problems, and then there's some spectacular games that
Which you'll have in any device or console.
absolutely,
It's
absolutely.
going to have those games where it's like, really? How did this see the light of day?
But oh, excuse me. But I mean, I have to say that they have been pretty good about basically broadcasting the games that are popular and that fit a certain genre. And you've got to really dig to find some of the really god awful games.
Well,
So
that's good.
they've buried them somewhat. So, anyways, Zealeus, it is almost time for the end of this broadcast, and I feel that we should probably just wrap up right about now, unless you've got any closing thoughts.
Nope, I'm good. Actually, unfortunately, right after this is over, I have to head off to the coal mines and act like I'm working.
Attaboy.
Woo!
Yay. Okay, well, then we'll wrap this up. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the morning broadcast of the Ultra Confusion Hangout. Stay tuned at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a second iteration of the Ultra Confusion Hangout. Do not worry, it will not be a recording of this video. It will be a brand new video. Huh?
That would be sneaky.
Yes, it would. So, for myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you tonight, or I will see you tonight.
And remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.